What's going on, you guys? It's looking like it's definitely possible that Steph Curry could have played his last game as a Golden State Warrior. Mentioning the Warriors without Steph Curry over the last 15, 17 years is crazy. But Bob Myers is gone. He's no longer the GM. Funny enough, he's in Philadelphia. And we all see how active the Philadelphia 76ers have been this summer. And we've also seen how inactive the Golden State Warriors have been this summer. I'm going to get into my thoughts a little bit later, but for now, let's hear what Windhorst had to say and get into these comments about Steph Curry and the Warriors.
And maybe he'll sign the contract extension on August 29th. But for Marcus to bring this up, I think it's something that we should pay attention to. Steph can be a free agent after this upcoming season if he wants. He's 38 years old, but I just want to point that out.
Yeah, and listen, do $62.6 million this year. That makes him one of the highest paid players in the league. You know, is an extension at or more than that number?
How do you realistically give a 38-year-old turning 39, even if it's Steph Curry, a contract upwards of $60 million, 60.5, 60.6, $60 million to a 38-year-old? There's also rumors that the GM has publicly stated that he's looking towards the future. He's planning for the Golden State Warriors post-Steph Curry era. And this is causing a lot of friction, let's just say, within the media, within the fans, in the community, and in the Bay Area. But $62 million, I'm not going to lie. As great as Steph Curry is, that is a hell of a lot of money to give a player that's about to be 40, especially if you're trying to compete for a championship.
If it is, it's a Lifetime Achievement Award. Because the Warriors aren't going to be winning with Steph Curry making $60+ million a year. That's, he's still playing at an awfully high level, but there's not going to be. And quite frankly, the idea that the Warriors are going, or even a big move away from being a contender, it's not an idea that's based in reality. The reality is they won a 9-10 play-in game last year and celebrated like it was a monumental accomplishment.
Wow.
And that was a recognition by Steve Kerr, who strongly considered retiring before coming back, by Steph Curry, by Draymond Green.
Facts.
That they're not going to have more trips to the mountaintop. They've got to savor the accomplishments, the moments that they do have. They celebrated not even clinching a playoff berth.
Wow.
A 9-10 win. Earning them the right to play another play-in game in which they got beat and didn't make the playoffs. But they celebrated that win. It was a hell of a comeback. It was great theater.
It was a good game.
It was as entertaining as a 9-10 play-in game could possibly be. But their celebration there told you everything you need to know about the state of the Warriors with Steph Curry at 38 years old, even though he's still, we could argue, a top 15 player
Absolutely.
or so in the NBA.
Honestly, you guys, I don't think that they're going to bring it back and run it back with this team. First of all, they have Moses Moody and Jimmy Butler on the injured reserve, right? So when you put those two together, that's over $70 million on the cap injured. You're trying to make moves to improve this roster over the summer to give Steph Curry one or two more stabs at a championship. This is a play-in team at best. At best. Not a 7-8 play-in, a 9-10 play-in. Right? So before this whole play-in tournament thing existed, they'd be golfing. I heard there's great golf in the Bay. Right? But they need to do something, and the GM that made things happen in the past is gone. As I mentioned, he's in Philadelphia, doing big things. And Golden State is doing nothing. Let's get into what Shams had to say, and then let's continue this a little further.
This is just a team that right now is at a crossroads. They're somewhat stagnant. I don't know what move they can make without gutting their future. And you have a guy in Stephen Curry, late 30s, Draymond Green, also later stages of his career. Are you going to gut your future unless it's a player that you feel like they would have given up their 4 first-round picks for Giannis Antetokounmpo, right?
Damn.
Giannis, 31 years old. You get him in his prime, you do it. The Bucks didn't want to do that deal. They wanted to go pursue a deal with Boston or Miami. They ended up doing the deal with Miami. So it's not like the Warriors haven't tried. They just haven't had the necessary pieces to get a deal done. And so it must be tough. If you're Stephen Curry, it must be tough that you want to compete for a championship like a LeBron James at the later years of your career, but you want to do it in Golden State. I've not sensed any feel that he wants to leave Golden State. And if he is going to stay in Golden State, which I fully expect that, then, you're going to have to deal with the lumps that come with it.
Look, guys, I think that what Steph Curry is doing is admirable. He wants to spend his entire career as a Golden State Warrior. And I get that. I have a lot of respect for that. Dirk Nowitzki did that. Tim Duncan did that. Kobe Bryant did that. Right? And Kobe got 5 rings as a Laker. Dirk got the 1 in 2011. Tim Duncan got 5 in San Antonio. And they gave championships to the team that drafted them. And that's a lot of admiration and respect when you're able to do that. Right? And it adds to your legacy. But sometimes when you reach a crossroads, even a player with a status and a stature like Steph Curry, at some point you have to say, you know what? Let me project into the future. If I look back and I don't make a move and go do something, because Steph Curry has more than a little gas left in the tank. Steph Curry missed significant time with injuries because, as you remember earlier on in his career, he had consecutive ankle issues, right? And he was missing a lot of games because of that. And it was a lot of ginger movements. And then eventually he got stronger. He came back 1 year and he looked like he put on like 10 pounds of muscle. His body changed and he was performing at a high level of consistent play. He played significantly more minutes post ankle injury, so to speak, right? But it's like now that you're 38, about to be 39, it's hard to be as great as Steph Curry is and look at somebody like LeBron go to a team with a 25-year-old Tyrese Maxey, a 32-year-old Joel Embiid that dropped 70 points a few years ago, right? A VJ Edgecombe, second-year player, right? The youth that he's surrounded with. Think of the Golden State Warriors and the youth that they had, right? I'm going to go there. Jordan Poole. They ran it back in 2022 with Jordan Poole. Jordan Poole was going crazy. Some people say, oh, he was arrogant, he was popping off. You know what he was doing? He was hitting logo threes. He was putting in significant minutes when Steph Curry was on the bench. Even when they were on the court, they were sharing the floor together and it looked like showtime. And then we all know what happened and we all know how that ended. But that was the future piece that they needed post Steph Curry. And they traded him away. They let it go because look, when you have a dynasty that like they had with Steph, with Draymond, with Clay, they have this brotherhood and you never go against your brothers. And Jordan Poole, I guess Draymond looked at him like the new guy, right? Shout out to Draymond. I mean, Draymond is a future Hall of Famer, right? He's a floor general, phenomenal passer. But, they had that little rift that was publicized. And then eventually Jordan Poole, in my opinion, was looked at as the new guy and he was casted out. I think that was a huge mistake and they've been trying to replace Jordan Poole ever since. They've got Podziemski. They've got all these new players. Look, if you put Jordan Poole and Gary Payton Jr. in the backcourt and you have Steph Curry and Klay Thompson on the bench, these guys can not only maintain that lead, but they can add to it. This is Gary Payton Jr., Gary Payton's son. This guy, his father's nickname was the Glove. Gary Payton is a phenomenal perimeter defender, and he can put it up on the offensive end of the court as well. That was a great backcourt that they were building towards the future, and it was a nice mix, a mesh with aging superstars and a young core that was in development, right? And then they made some draft picks that didn't work out, whether it's the James Wisemans and whatnot. But look what they just did this year with Luxembourg. I believe that's how you pronounce his name, right? Another Michigan guy, right? But it's like right now, they're just not in a position to win. You can't be a playing at best team. And Steph Curry, sometimes, even though you want to cement your legacy as the greatest Warrior ever, you are already that. And you need to go and win, and you need to put yourself in a position to maximize the last 1, 2, potentially 3 years of your career. Finally, let's get into what Shaq had to say because Shaq has been chiming in lately and he's making a lot of sense. Let's check this out real quick.
It's just him and Draymond, bro, and Podziemski. I mean, they don't have much, man. What does Steph Curry do, Shaq?
Steph Curry's legacy is already complete.
Cemented. Absolutely.
Complete. You know why it's complete? Because while everybody was talking about LeBron being number one or number two, this little light-skinned kid dominated in LeBron's era.
God.
And he beat LeBron. And
Come on, Shaq.
Doesn't he have one more ring more than LeBron?
No, they both have 4.
Okay, they both have 4. So, hey, look at this little kid. Cabbage Patch doll, cute little kid that you can take
come
home,
on, Shaq.
babysit him. Dude has 4 rings. He's a great player. It's unfortunate that Bob Myers left, and they're not really operating like they used to operate. You asked the question where I thought LeBron would have went. I actually thought he was going to go to Golden State too.
No.
Listen, he's just going to keep shooting it out. He's probably going to pass me in the scoring, and when it's all said and done, one of the greatest shooters ever. But I've always said, how come you don't put him in the GOAT category?
All right. Final thought. I believe that Steph Curry definitely should be in that GOAT category. And I just dropped a video the other day. Go ahead and check it out. It's called Why LeBron Was Never Going to Go to the Golden State Warriors. And it's for that reason in particular. Steph Curry and LeBron James, as cool as they are off the court, they are in competition with one another. Right? Steph Curry, 4 championships. LeBron James, 4 championships. I get it. You've got Olympic gold medals together and you're friends. You hang out. You golf in the Bay Area. But I don't think that LeBron James would go team up with Steph Curry and form a team of aging superstars between the age of 33 and 41 and seriously think that they're going to get past an Oklahoma City Thunder, get past a San Antonio Spurs, right? These teams are younger. They're building it out the draft. And like someone alluded to earlier, I believe it was Windhorst, you can't give up 4 first-round draft picks to get Giannis and consider yourself a team of the future. That just makes absolutely no sense, right? You're going to have a nice 2 to 3 year maximum window as it pertains to Steph Curry as a Warrior, but your future's cooked. Your future would absolutely be cooked. You cannot give up 4 first-round picks. But again, like Shaq mentioned, they're doing absolutely nothing in this offseason. It almost seems like it's by design as per the general manager. He's building for the future. He's holding on to these draft picks, and he's not going to. I honestly don't believe that they're going to give Steph Curry a $62 million contract. They're not going to do it. You can't give a 62-year-old You can't 62. You can't give a 38-year-old turning 39 a $62.6 million contract as a player about to turn 40. That just doesn't make any sense, especially if you're building for the future. You're tying up a lot of money in him. Don't get me wrong, Steph Curry deserves it. I have a lot of admiration and respect for Steph Curry, but not make the playoffs. You can't give that type of cheese away to be a 9-10 playoff team celebrating. Remember when they had that moment on the sideline with Draymond, Steph, and Steve Kerr? In that moment, it was almost like this is it. Steve Kerr realized the writing was on the wall and he was about to step aside and he was about to step down as head coach. The writing has kind of been on the walls for a few years now, right? I knew that when Bob Myers left, around that time when they didn't re-sign Clay, they realized we lost Jordan Poole. Should I say we gave away Jordan Poole, and the writing was on the wall from back then. And sometimes when you have these relationships, right, it's hard to let go of somebody like Clay, and it's hard to let go of somebody like Draymond, and they haven't let go of Draymond, right? But that's another discussion. They're just not built to win right now, and honestly, there's just nothing that the Golden State Warriors can do this summer. There's absolutely nothing that they can do. It's over. Steph Curry, you need to get out of there. There's going to be respect forever in the Bay Area, but go win. Go somewhere, get you 1 or 2 more championships, and then ride off into the sunset with 5 or 6. That's all I got. Let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. Where do you think he's going to go? Until my next video, I'll talk to you guys later. Peace.